So there's been a lot of talk about bankruptcy, and I started doing my own research into the different chapters, chapter 7, chapter 11, chapter 13, etc., and just trying to educate myself on the different chapters and what each one is for. And then I guess I'm in the matrix now. So I started seeing more articles about different businesses that have filed chapter 11. The slutty vegan lady, she was in the news because she filed chapter 11. I came across an article on Sandra Rose about Publishers Clearinghouse. I couldn't believe it. I remember Publishers Clearinghouse from when I was a kid. I kept entering my mother into the sweepstakes. I was ordering the magazines and doing all the things to try to win that big check. But once I started noticing that they never came to a neighborhood like mine, I lived on Martin Luther King. They wasn't coming to Martin Luther King to drop off one of them big checks. So I stopped. I was like, I'm not going to keep spending my mother's good money on these magazines and they not going to give us the sweepstakes. But it is crazy how they filed chapter 11 last year. But on top of filing, chapter 11 is about a reorganization of the business. So if you have different branches and different stores, you may shut down a store, you may sell equipment, you may reorganize your business so that you can start paying off your debt. But with Publishers Clearinghouse, not only did they shut down the business, not only did they file chapter 11, but they sold the business. And it made sense based on what I read about them, where their revenue went down to about nothing. So by the time they filed bankruptcy, they were saying that their assets were between 1 and 10 million, but their debts were between 50 and 100 million. And if you're not bringing in the revenue to pay off those debts, it only makes sense to sell. But the problem is they didn't tell their sweepstakes winners. So the people who were dependent on that $5,000 a week for the rest of their life, it stopped. The last check that they got was in 2025. They are not getting a check in 2026. The new company that bought out Publishers Clearinghouse, they were saying that they're not paying any of their debts. So anyone who was expecting to receive a check in 2026 wasn't getting a check. And this guy, he quit his job 10 years ago. He was living off that $260,000 a year. And now he's saying he has to go back to work and he may lose his house. Moral of the story is, if you ever win the sweepstakes, take the lump sum. Do not take the installments.